Another incredible day for the markets with the SPY nearly up a quarter and QQQ tapping 1% gains. Tech continues to be the monster story of this generational rally. I say that because this has been the fastest depression to bull market in US history. Never before has the S&P 500 index gone from below the 200 moving average to a new high this fast. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It is expected to continue. Like so many of the quote unquote market experts out there, I too see very little headwinds for the market going into the election. You already know they're going to put up another stimulus package. So that's your next leg higher. Like I've said in previous podcasts, let's just stick to the big names, right? Apple, Netflix, Zoom, Amazon, Google. I mean, heck, if there's not a stock that's up at least 30% over the last 90 days, you don't even need to be there. I have a couple sleepers for the rest of the month. First and foremost is Microsoft, which is actually down for the month, less than 0.05%, but the stock has gone nowhere since the beginning of July. And I've noticed some people getting worried in the chat rooms. First of all, let's talk a little bit about Microsoft. It was too old of a company to be included in the FANG stocks, and that's kind of why it wasn't given some part of that acronym. But since April, it's only faked me out once using my 25-10 crossover moving strategy. I do have a video out there on my channel to look into it for those of you guys who love to buy calls or sell puts for longer than a day. Anyway, until that stock is below the 25 and 10 moving average on the daily with at least more than 2 closes in a row in the red, then that means there's still a ton of demand there, right? And until you get that breakdown sign, then you've got to be thinking about possibly Microsoft is simply just taking a break here and could very well continue higher when momentum returns. Next up is Netflix, and this is the one high-flying stock that probably has the most upside potential from here, just based on its RSI alone. This stock is exactly where it needs to really take off. I mean, it did give a breakdown signal. The 25-10, in fact, is actually crossed over here, but the stock needed a green day today, and it got it. The bulls delivered on Netflix today, and a follow-through tomorrow would be an incredible buy signal that a potential retest of the 510s and 520s is profitable. And ladies and gentlemen, you wouldn't want to miss out on those gains if that happens, right? Now, there's some real danger signs in the air for a stock, and one of them is AMD. After a big start in July, the stock, for the most part in August, has absolutely gone nowhere. The longs are really going to have to show they're committed to, this stock for the rest of the week. I mean, this is really going to be a test for them. And it's currently overextended and doesn't have very much legs to stand on because the move higher was so aggressive after multiple months of sideways movement in the stock. So if they don't find some real support here to maintain these higher volume levels, then you could very well see 75 or the low 70s on AMD in the future. So pay attention to that. Now let's move on to the shiny metals. You won't find a bigger cheerleader than me right now when it comes to gold and silver. Well, maybe Peter Schiff, and I'll get back to him in a minute. But let's focus on SLV, up 60% in 90 days and is the largest ETF backed by silver. I love these ETFs backed by silver. Physical silver, SLV, GLD. Of course, going back to silver, you can get a little AGQ to spice up your holdings. But I'm honestly terrified of paper gold and silver right now because I can foresee those futures traders actually demanding delivery. And for those of you guys who know about futures trading, these are just simply derivatives that are traded until expiration. People don't actually take physical delivery of the underlying. But this could be a time when that actually starts happening. Why? Because it's been so hard to get retail gold and silver, right, on the retail market. So if there's an opportunity for someone of wealth and means to get physical gold and silver through the futures market, I think they could be very well attempting to do that on a large scale over the next coming weeks and months ahead. So if I'm you, personally, I'm staying away from paper gold and paper silver. So I would be invested more into silver backed ETFs. So every share of stock you buy in silver or gold is actually going into a fund that controls access to what they have on hand, which are holdings in that physical underlying, right? Gold and or silver. That is where you're going to want to be from, now on. Of course, still add a little bit of those leveraged ETFs. You can still add a little bit of that JNUG, that Nugget, that AGQ. A little bit doesn't hurt, but I would definitely not have that be a majority of my holdings in those commodities. Well, to end the episode, I just want to give a round of applause to Peter Schiff. I mentioned his name earlier. A lot of people don't really understand how powerful their voice is in the social media age. Just because you're not popular doesn't mean that you can't get in front of a big timer like Peter Schiff. For those of you guys who don't know, I made a video calling him a race pervert. Coming from a black person, that's a lot. I mean, that's a very, very strong language in the time that we're living in. And I know he's really embarrassed about that, right? And I get the emails from his fans and people who I believe are probably working for him asking me to take, the video down. And they do it very respectfully, I might add. And, it is something that I want to go on record and say I'm considering because what he's done since that video, it's been an incredible 180. I mean, he's focused on, what his skill set is, which is talking about macroeconomics in a way that the common man can understand. And that's basically what made him who he is. He has to just stick to that. And the disrespect that, had been included in a lot of his work over the last several months going into the George Floyd incident had just gone a little bit too far for me. So, people say, oh, Sal, concentrate on the stocks and the money. Concentrate on tracking the market like the name of your channel is. All right, I'd love to do that. But I take information from the dominant society and share it with you. I don't want to be triggered when I'm listening to their content when I feel like it's disrespectful towards me, right? Or disrespectful towards a community I care about, or disrespectful towards a community that I sell my products and services to. I don't want to hear that. I want to focus on the market. I want to focus on the stock, on the indices and gold and silver. I don't want to be worried about those, those other things, right? So when you include it in your content, it triggers me and it makes me want to speak up. So let's all just get back to what we do best, which is the market. And I want to get back to that. All right. And this is the beginning of that. And again, I want to thank Peter for changing his ways. And I hope you stay that way. And my biggest fear is removing that video and then you turning right back around when something bad happens and starts, disrespecting poor black people. And I'm not going to tolerate that. And other YouTubers like myself aren't going to tolerate that because I know I'm not the only person who made a video about you, Peter. All right. So shout out to the Peter Schiff fans out there. But right now, we're back on this stock market stuff. We're back on this gold. We're back on this silver. There's a ton of money to be made out here. It's a ton of money already that has been made. And there's a ton more money to continue to be made because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not making any money, you're just scared. Can we just admit that? If you're not making any money in the market, you are just scared. You can literally drop $100 in any leveraged ETF, SPX, XL, TQQ, and you're up 20, 30% within 2 weeks. And I'm talking to leveraged ETFs here. So you're getting that boof, So there's no reason for you to be sitting on the sidelines watching everybody win. There's so many people who are sitting on the sidelines waiting, I'm going to wait for the pullback and I'm going to look, folks, there's another leg or two higher than this. This could go on for another 2 to 3 years. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? I mean, seriously, a lot of people are sleeping on this move, and the government is giving you free money here. All right, giving you free money here. Yes, could it all fall apart tomorrow? Absolutely, but you understand that risk. We're traders here. All right, we're not living in fear. Right, we don't live by fear. Obviously, we got to protect our investment, but we don't live in fear. We're accessing the capital markets, understanding the risk, and with the risk out there, we know that putting our capital to work is the best place for us to be right now. The worst place for you to be is in cash. So I'm not going to continue to keep this on much longer. I want to thank everyone who listened to the end. You're very, very special to me. I really appreciate you doing that. Continue to keep your money at work, folks. This is an incredible rally that we have to soak up. I mean, you really have to continue to stay invested, continue to, enjoy what's happening right now, because they're giving it away and you got to take it. Until next time, tomorrow, trade well.